Yo, it's your boy DKB back with another episode of the Midnight Truth. Here to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I'm back, people. I'm back. I'm tired as hell today. Very tired as hell today. I'm trying not to fall asleep on y'all today. For real, because I am dead tired. For real. I've been sick, had the flu. Influenza B took me out the game for a couple days. Plus, I've been busy with this and that, busy with work. Just been tired, man. Just been tired. But I'm back in full effect. I am back here for a good time, not a long time. Now, today, people, since there's a lot of stuff going on in my guilty pleasure, and I'm gonna get to it in a minute because that's what this podcast is about. This podcast is about my guilty pleasure today. And I'm gonna get to it in a minute, but because of the simple fact that things are going on, a lot of things are going on, I decided that I'm gonna talk about it today. Today. Um, and some of you are gonna ask, hey, you're saying guilty pleasure, but what is your guilty pleasure? Well, I actually have two, but I'm only talking about one today. And the two of the guilty pleasures that I have is I'm a big, huge combat sports fan, whether it's karate, whether it's Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, whether it's MMA, whether it's boxing. I'm a huge combat sports fan, so I watch a lot of combat sports, but that's not why I'm here today. Why I'm here today is talk about guilty pleasure number two. And guilty pleasure number two, my people, is wrestling. Or as some of you call it, wrestling. The stuff that people think is fake, the stuff that people think is scripted, the stuff that people think is not entertaining to watch in some people's eyes. Basically, it's a men's soap opera, okay? So for all y'all that like that re- uh, Real Housewives of Atlanta and Love and Hip Hop and all them reality shows, man, get the hell out of here. All right, get the hell out of here and kick rocks. Today, people, I'm gonna be talking about wrestling. Now, I'm gonna break this down into three components. Just because it's a lot going on in the wrestling world, it's a whole lot going on in the wrestling world. Um, so the first component, I'm gonna break it down to how I started watching wrestling, why I started watching wrestling, why I like it, what I don't like about it. Number two is I'm gonna talk about the current events. I'm gonna talk about the current events of wrestling, specifically WWE, but I also watch AEW here and there. And I'm also going to talk about a couple things that I've seen in wrestling as far as like whether it's going to an event, whether it's going to uh, uh, a meet and greet, whatever it is, watching it on TV. I got a couple of stories, a couple of wrestling stories that are pretty good. Not as good as the stories as I tell on here, but I got a couple of wrestling stories. But first things first. First things first. I am back. Okay, welcome to the Midnight True podcast. Okay, um, now, now, let me talk about my sickness for a minute before I start off into this wrestling thing. Now, I had influenza B people and I've never had the flu. I don't think I might have had the flu and didn't know it, but this time I officially had the flu and let me tell you, I've never been through something like I was for the past week and a half, couple weeks. Started off with back pain. Okay, it started off with back pain. It started off. I had back spasms, very bad back spasms, to the point to where I couldn't walk. Okay, and that was painful. Let me tell you, back spasms ain't nothing to play with. From there, okay, my body felt hot, like feverishly hot inside and out. I did not throw up anything, but I couldn't eat nothing. I couldn't even put nothing down. Even water was troubling to even be like, hey, I'm thirsty. I need some water. I didn't have no appetite. People, I'm already a scrawny little motherfucker. And not eating for 4 or 5 days, yeah, that was troubling to me. Um, but the end result of all that, I have a cough, still have a cough. Trying to get rid of it. Can't they say it's the last thing that you get rid of from the flu? So I still have a little cough here and there, but we gonna get through it today. I feel about 95% better. If I can get rid of this cough, I'll be 100%. But we gonna get through it today. So first things first, on to the wrestling thing. Um, I don't actually remember how I started watching wrestling. I was very, 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 very young watching wrestling. I remember. I want to say. I want to say I started watching wrestling right around the time that The Undertaker, who is my favorite wrestler of all time in any organization ever, debuted. And this was 1991. I was born in 1992, so I probably started watching wrestling around maybe 5, 6 years old. That I can remember, and I remember the very first person I saw was The Undertaker. Fell in love instantly. I'll get to that later. Um, so yeah, I regularly watch wrestling on Mondays, Fridays when SmackDown came along, and then pay-per-views on Sunday. I always had my mom or buy me a pay-per-view here and there when she could, just so I could watch wrestling. Um, I don't remember even how I even got to like wrestling, why I even liked wrestling, but I just remember The Undertaker and I fell in love with him, man. The scary, dark side, evil, uh, dead man persona that he had, it really interested me. It really kept me entertained. Now, now, um, why do I like wrestling? Okay, why do I like wrestling? That was how I started. Let me tell you why I like it. I like it because it's something different. Okay, it's something different. You have all the components of a TV show. You have all the components of a movie. You have all the components of a physical sport, all in one. All in one. You got your drama, you got your physical contact, all of that. It's something different, something entertaining to watch. It's something to do. Um, so I grew up in the era. Okay, let me tell you what era I grew up in. I grew up in the era of a few well-known guys, actually, that some of you might know. I'm not gonna name them all because there were tons and tons of wrestlers back in that time. I grew up in the Attitude Era. I grew up in the WCW Monday Night WWE War. It was WWF at the time, but I grew up in all of that. The NWO, DX, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, um, Triple H, Undertaker, Kane, uh, the Giant, aka the Big Show, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Sting, all of that stuff, all of that. I grew up in that era, and that was probably, in my opinion, one of the best eras of wrestling ever because I feel like that's when it was the most entertaining, even though it was ran by Vince McMahon, who I kind of don't like. I don't like his way of running things. I think Triple H running WWE now is one of the greatest things to ever happen to WWE. But we'll get to that later too. But I grew up in the Attitude Era, and let me tell you, that was probably one of the funnest times of my life, honestly. Watching the Attitude Era, watching Stone Cold Steve Austin go against his boss, flipping them off and giving them Stone Cold Stunners, giving everybody Stone Cold Stunners, watching The Undertaker choke slam people and his vignettes and his promos and all that. But there was also another superstar that was really, 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 really entertaining that a lot of people I don't hear today a lot of people talking about. Oh yeah, The Rock. Don't forget The Rock, people. We're not gonna forget The Rock. But I don't hear a lot of people talking about Mick Foley. I don't hear a lot of people talking about Mankind, Dude Love, and Cactus Jack. That crazy motherfucker. I'm gonna be here today to give Mick Foley his flowers because that man right there probably 90% kept me entertained because that man was so crazy. He did things that I've never seen somebody do ever in anything before. Now, now I'm gonna get to the things I like and the things I don't like about wrestling. Okay. I decided to get on here today because it's a lot of stuff going on in wrestling these days, and it's getting to the point to where it's lovable to watch again. At some point, I want to say when the Undertaker got older, I faded away from wrestling because he was the only guy I really watched. I mean, you had your John Cena's, you had your Brock Lesnar's, your Batistas, those new generation of guys, your Randy Ortons and your all of them. I honestly faded away a little bit once John Cena came around. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I still watched it. I think I watched it all the way up to maybe about 5 years ago is when I stopped watching wrestling. Um, for the simple fact, Undertaker got older, Undertaker retired, and I no longer wanted to watch wrestling because of him. He was a big part of why I watched wrestling. The Undertaker was the main reason why I watched wrestling because, again, I was so in love with his character and the things that his character did. But the things I like about wrestling, okay, I love the characters themselves. Now, back in maybe the 80s, I want to say, um, the characters were kind of gimmicky. They were kind of cartoonish. They were uh, make believe, so to speak. Like they weren't real. They didn't seem real. Um, and I wasn't born in the '80s, so I don't know much about the '80s. But I do know there was a few guys from the '80s I like your Hulk Hogan's, your Bret Hart's, your Ultimate Warriors, and Lex Luger's, and all that. So I liked a couple guys from the '80s. I didn't grow up in that era, but those characters were very, 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 very non-believable. They didn't get believable until, to me, in my opinion, until the Attitude Era. Really, the Attitude Era really showed a I don't give a damn attitude. Like I don't give a damn. We gonna do this again. Different times from what they are now. Um, Also, a lot of things that they did in the Attitude Era, you couldn't pass and get away with things that they used to do now. Because it was just so raunchy, so raw, so gritty. you know, and now we live in a sensitive world where every little thing matters. Every little thing matters. People are sensitive to what you say, what you do, blah blah blah. I wish they would bring some of the attitude era back, to be honest, like with these generations of superstars now, because that's what made it fun. But I understand times have changed. Times have changed. Um, so I mainly faded away from wrestling because of the simple fact my superstars like The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, Kane, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, all those guys, they got older, and as they got older, it wasn't fun for me to watch anymore. I mean, you had John Cena in there. Don't get me wrong. I like John Cena, but he wasn't like my guy. You know what I mean? My guy was like a CM Punk, who is a great segue to where I'm going. Now, just recently, we're going to say over the past year. So, the past year, 2023, currently, the state of wrestling kind of making a comeback. Kind of making a comeback. Now, maybe over the last 5 years, okay, the last 5 years, WWE has competition. All Elite Wrestling, AEW. Um, it doesn't remind me of, a lot of people say it's like WCW. The way it's ran, yes, I could see that. But I'm gonna tell you, during maybe like the '05, '06, '07, '08, there was another company in wrestling that I used to watch along with WWE long after ECW, which was my favorite promotion. Don't get me like, because it was just raw, gritty, bloody, gory, all of that. And I like that type of stuff. I'm weird like that. But this was long after ECW was gone. This was long after WCW was bought out by WWE. Um, there was a promotion, a WWE, a wrestling promotion, excuse me, a wrestling promotion that was around that I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I mean, now some of those superstars from that company are either in WWE or AEW now, but I don't hear a lot of people talking about TNA, Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. That was one of my favorites because of the superstars you had on there. You had AJ Styles, you had Samoa Joe, you had Abyss, you had Christian from the WWE, you had Kurt Angle from the WWE, you had Booker T, you had Jeff Hardy, you had, all these guys that I grew up on, and they were in another company, and that company was good for a minute until it got ran like WCW. And you guys all know, all the wrestling fans, all the true wrestling fans know what happened in WCW. Um, Impact is still around. It's called Impact now. I think they're switching back to TNA here this year in 2024. I believe they're switching back to TNA, Total Nonstop Action. I think they rebranded themselves, but it's not the same anymore, so I don't watch it. But current events. I was talking about CM Punk. Okay. Now, a lot of people don't know who CM Punk is. A lot of people don't know what's going on in the current wrestling world. Okay? CM Punk is probably my number two behind The Undertaker because he reminds me so much of Stone Cold Steve Austin. Stone Cold Steve Austin. If you guys don't know who CM Punk is, go on YouTube. Go on YouTube and just type in CM Punk and look at old stuff, not the recent stuff, to where he's came back. and that's what I was leading into. He has come back, and I am so excited. Even though he's older, okay, and I'm gonna get through all of his stuff, but even though he's older, I still love him, man. I still love him. He's making that thing pop again. Um, I love the you don't see it more. You don't see it more now than you did then. I love the mystique of wrestling. That's another thing I like. I love the mystique of wrestling. Like, you don't know whether it's real. You don't know whether this is fake. You don't know whether this is scripted. Anything that they do in that ring, I have all respect in the world for them because they put their bodies on the line to entertain people like us. Okay? I don't care if they jump off the top rope and stub a toe, they get my respect because the things that these people do to put on for us is incredible. It's incredible. It's basically a big ass stage play. It's a physical stage play is what it is to me. To me, that has soap opera elements. Um, but I really got all respect in the world for any wrestler out there. Even if I don't like the wrestler, I still have respect. I still have respect for that person because ain't no way in the world I'm gonna be putting my body on the line to be entertaining millions and thousands of and hundreds of people just for the sake of entertainment. No. Now, if I'm getting paid millions and millions of dollars, I might change my mind. Of course. But the things that they do, I don't think I could put my body through that. Like, for example, I just watched a podcast of The Undertaker. Matter of fact, a Joe Rogan experience. If you guys don't listen to Joe Rogan or know who Joe Rogan is, that's the guy from Fear Factor. He has a podcast called The Joe Rogan Experience. I suggest you go on Spotify and check that out because the man is. I love Joe Rogan. His viewpoints, the shit that he talk about, it's amazing. But he had the Undertaker on there. Okay, he had the Undertaker on there, and the Undertaker was talking about he had how his body was breaking down. So much so, he was in a match. He was talking about he was in a match with Kane, who was his storyline brother. True wrestling fans know who Kane and The Undertaker is and know their story. I'm not gonna get into all that. But the man was talking about his shoulder had popped. Something had popped in his shoulder, like a muscle or something. And from years and years and years of damage, he has damaged his shoulder so much to where they have had to use other parts of his body, other parts of his back, or his shoulder, or what's left of his shoulder, and somehow tie it together to where he can have mobility. It and just the things that these people do with their bodies is incredible. Um, there is even a thing. There is even a such thing as death match wrestling. Death match wrestling. I'm getting off tangent to what I was talking about current events, but I'm just making a point. Like, these people use light tubes. They cut each other with light tubes and barbed wire and thumbtacks and oh my goodness, people. If you look up deathmatch wrestling on YouTube, you will see what I'm talking about. It's the one of the most incredible things, one of the most insanely things. If you're not squeamish, it's like, oh my goodness, how are these people doing this? And why some of these people aren't even getting paid money to do the things that these wrestlers do. guess that's just another life that I have no idea knowing about. Yeah, I watch it, I love it, and hear these people's stories, but my golly goodness, people. My golly goodness. My, like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. But where I was getting to, back to the current events, I got off tangent because I was just giving y'all my passion for wrestlers and wrestling. Like, I love that shit, man. I love that shit. I don't care what nobody say. I used to get bullied because I loved wrestling, from girls and boys, males and females. Like when I was growing up, because I loved wrestling. Oh, it's so fake. Oh, why you like that? I don't understand why you, nigga, you like wrestling? That type of shit. Like, bruh, you just don't understand. The shit's entertaining, okay? Y'all see me questioning y'all, like, why do the old grandmas like uh soap operas? Why do old men like westerns? Why does the young crowd now like reality TV? Like, no, you don't hear me. Yeah, I'm not one to judge, so don't judge me. Don't judge me. But anyway, back to the current events. So there, this past year, 2023 alone, we're just gonna talk about 2023. I can talk about wrestling all damn day, all damn night because I live it. Okay, I watch it faithfully, religiously. Um, study it. But 2023 has been a wild, wild year for wrestling. AEW's, they still got some things to work on. Yeah, I feel like they're not gonna survive. They might survive only for a simple fact of the type of entertainment that in wrestling that they do. But I don't. It's very hard. Right now they're on fire. Right now they got some little mishaps, but I think it's just like uh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to be a prophesizer. I don't want to be a prophesizer, and I'm not. But I don't want to speak on something that I don't know. But um, 2023 in wrestling has been incredible. Okay, and I just started back. I watched wrestling from the time I was 5, probably all the way up to junior year in college, senior year in college, 2015. So from maybe 1995, 1996 ish. Remember, I was born in 92, but I do remember I watched wrestling very, 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 very young. Um, so maybe about 1996, we're going to say 96, 97. Um, all the way up to 2015. So 19 years I had nonstop, consistently watched wrestling. Stopped because my guys got older, who I named earlier. Then came 2022, 2023. Okay, 2023, 2024. Um, Wrestling has been interesting. Now, For those of you that know, wrestling has been ran, WWE specifically, has been ran by Vince McMahon. Okay, everybody know who Mr. McMahon was, is, all that. But the way he's ran WWE, and kudos to that man. Thank God for that man. Because without him, I don't think there would be no WWE. So I'm not going to talk bad about Mr. McMahon like all these other podcasters do. I'm not going to do that. I didn't like him, but I give him his respect where respect needs to be due because that man is an incredible genius. It's just like Kanye. I compare him to Kanye. I don't like Kanye, but he's an incredible genius. I give respect where respect is due. Now, excuse, Blunt just took shit on me. Damn. Now, um, being ran by Mr. McMahon, I feel like WWE at a certain point, a la the Attitude Era, my favorite era, my generation. I feel like at a certain point, at a certain point, he tried to keep up with the times. Okay, so from the time I watch wrestling to the next era of ruthless aggression, and then that late 2010s, that late 2010s, yeah, I kind of lost it for Mr. McMahon. It's like somewhere he tried to keep up with the times, but he's older. He's a different generation. He kind of got lost somewhere with the creativity. Let me say that again: the creativity in WWE, and so that's what made me stop watching it. Like, ugh, like nah, this is garbage. Like, yeah. But then Triple H retired, or so to speak, got out of the ring. Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque, Mr. Levesque. That man saved WWE, and I don't care what nobody else in this world say. I don't care what another podcaster say. That, and I'm talking to the wrestling podcasters. That man saved WWE. He took off his boots. Seen that Mr. McMahon was struggling. I don't know. I'm just saying. With the way that things were ran, the creativity, and took that thing and turned it upside down. That this man has done an incredible job with the WWE. And he ain't even the owner, people. He don't even own. He, ooh, like the things that Triple H has done with the WWE is going down in history, people. This is why I'm talking about this today. I'm so excited because this stuff is going down, and you can read on this. You can watch things on this. This is going down in history. This man is making more history all in a year, and he ain't even ran it that long. Maybe 3, 4 years, 5 maybe at most. Compared to what Mr. McMahon has done, this man has broken more records than I can count. This man has made history, people. History, people. Do you... let me just say, let me just talk about this for a minute. Triple H, okay, he sees that he has competition with AEW. He sees this. He knows this. You have a lot of guys that were in WWE. You have that in AEW now. You got a lot of guys that were in TNA. A lot of guys that were in ECW. A lot of guys that were in the indie are in AEW and they coming. He knows this. So he had to change the game. And this man has changed the game. For real. For real. And it is exciting me. That's why I got on here today to talk about something different, like wrestling, because it is blowing my mind what this man is doing, and I don't think he's getting the recognition that he needs to get. He's making so many things happen. Okay, let's start here. Let's start here. This thing he's doing with Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. Oh my goodness. And it might not even be his idea, people. Let me just say that. But the way he is running the business and running the storylines, oh my goodness. It is some of the greatest storytelling I have ever seen in my life, people. You don't see things like this on TV. Because you got this reality TV crap that nobody cares about anymore. The reality TV thing is gone now. I feel like it's gone. It's over with. But people still watch it because we're brainwashed about this, that, and third. I ain't gonna get on all of that because that ain't what this is about today. And I ain't trying to preach, but people, this man is doing some of the best storytelling, better than Disney, in my opinion. This man is showing you things through storytelling that a lot of people can relate to. I feel like honestly, the things that WWE is doing right now, and I'm not talking about AEW, because they got some ways to go. The things that WWE is doing right now, I feel like, and a lot of people don't even watch wrestling like that, at least that I know. It is more relatable than Disney, people. I don't know if it's because it's adults, it's an adult show, like, and yes, it's kid friendly, but you know what I mean. Like, it's for men. That's what it was made for. It was for made for men, a soap opera for men, and they turned it into something that is globally insane. Not lying to you, people. It's incredible. There were two things I told you, two things that I grew up on, and I love them to death. I will die about them with anybody that got an argument. I will die about wrestling, MMA. That's that's it. That's it. So I'm telling you, like, this is some of the greatest storytelling that this man has ever done. Then you got to think about the star power that this man is doing. Like, this man got people that has been in movies and TV shows. Let's get to CM Punk. Shout out to CM Punk, Phil Brooks. Okay, these people talk about how this man went to the UFC, got his ass his ass upped. Okay, Molly Wop, meat mopped, all that. All right, but not a lot of people talk about how the man had the courage to do it, to go get his ass whooped. Because he wanted to try it. Showing that you can do anything that you put your mind to. What's wrong with that? Nobody talks about that. Then, CM Punk defeats John Cena. Okay? Before the UFC deal. Before the MMA trial. He beats John Cena. He's the man. The best in the world. Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon, and Triple H. Because he did, this is all documented, he did talk about this. They didn't see eye to eye with him, okay? Because he real, he raw, and uncut. And I understand it. I understand it. Business thing. But let me say this. Let me take my glasses off of this. The real is dying. The real is dying. CM Punk is a perfect example to show you the real is dying. Here's what I mean. This man put his body on the line. This man was at the top. He defeated Superman John Cena. Who was the next Rock? He defeated, they wrote that. All right? But they didn't give this man respect. Because he real, he raw, he uncut. Point to say, the real don't really get nowhere. When you real, don't it? Because the truth hurts. That's why. If you real, if you're honest with yourself, if you're honest to others, they don't like you. They hate on you. They bully you. They treat you like shit because they can't handle you, because you're so real, you're so raw, you're so uncut, and you come with honesty. You come with that truth that hits you here in that heart. And it's sad. Okay? You know what? I'm gonna get off subject for a second. Then I'm gonna get back to CM Punk. But I'm here to make a point. I watch, shout out to Trap Lord Ross from the UK. I watch Trap Lord Ross on YouTube. You guys should check him out. Subscribe to his channel. And he talks about the rap game and the rap beefs and the gangs in the rap gang and in the rap game, excuse me. But basically it's not about the rap game. It's not about the music. He got a deeper meaning to the things he talk about. This young generation. My young black men. That's why I'm wearing this right now. My young black men. I love my black people. I love my black sisters. I love my black brothers. I'm all pro-black. Okay? But I got an issue, and I never talked about this. I got an issue. My issue is, why can't we ever get ahead as a people? We are the only race. Now, I'm not trying to make this a racial thing. But you don't hear about any other race more than black people. And it sickens me. It sickens me because, back to what I was saying, the real is dying. CM Punk is real as I can ever say. See, he's one of the realest people in the world, people. Whether he works in pro wrestling or not, whether wrestling is real or not. That's why I love CM Punk so much. He's real. Okay. And Mr. McMahon and Triple H doing the business thing. And that's why I feel like it's wrong with people, period. I feel like nobody cares about what's real. Nobody cares about what is real. And it sickens me. I have a top 5 in wrestling. I have a Mount Rushmore in wrestling. Okay. My top 5 wrestlers of all time. That means from the time that I started wrestling to now. Are my top 5 because they are real. As a human, not as a character, as a human, they are real. Top 5 wrestlers. Number 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't give a damn if his character is a character. I don't give a damn if anything he did in a ring was scripted. I don't give a damn if he fake punched somebody. As a human, the things that man portrayed in that character was real. That's why I loved him. It was real. It was raw. It was uncut. Everybody got a boss they want to go against. Relation? Relatable? Sound familiar? Everybody got a boss. And that's what his character did. Go against his boss with a F you attitude. That was real. Wrestler number 2 of all time, of course, I said him earlier. The Undertaker. The Mystique. Again, I don't care if he fake punched by somebody. I don't care if he fake slams them. I don't care if he slammed somebody and it didn't hurt. I don't give a damn how fake you people say wrestling is. I don't care how fake you say The Undertaker is. As a character. That shit was real. Look up The Undertaker. Look up The Undertaker. Go on YouTube, go on Google, look up The Undertaker and watch some of his videos. Watch some of the promos, not the wrestling matches, the promos. And tell me if that shit ain't relevant today. Because it's real. Wrestler number 3, everybody love him. The Rock. The Rock. I ain't even gotta say what's so real about The Rock's character. What's so real about The Rock himself. I ain't even gotta say. And you can't relate to that because it's real. Number 4, of course, CM Punk. CM Punk. And I ain't gotta say nothing about him either. I ain't gotta say nothing about him either. Number 5, Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, because he's real and relatable. Raw. My Mount Rushmore, I ain't gonna even get into that because that ain't what I'm trying to talk about. The real. The real. So, they bring CM Punk back this year. He comes back this year. Now, I'm not going to get into the story, but because of the disrespect and he didn't get his recognition, he had to leave. He left. He went to AEW. He took a break, got himself together, and he come back. Then the same thing happened. He comes in a toxic environment where the real is dying, and I ain't gonna get into that because AEW is a whole nother thing. But he comes in an environment where it's toxic after he tries the UFC. Tried to refresh himself, come back to wrestling. Didn't work over there. And now he's back in the WWE. Boy. I'm watching it again. I ain't got no choice because the real is back. And I feel like Triple H understands the real is dying, so he's got to bring the real back. Everything. The Rock, today is Tuesday, January 2nd. Shout out to my mama. It's her birthday today. But he brought The Rock back in these times. Trying to show you through wrestling that the real is back. The real was dying. We got to bring that back, people. We got to bring the real back. Got to bring the real back. Because we are in trouble. We ain't got nobody to lead us to say, hey, this is the real. This is the raw. This is the uncut. If you don't like it, I don't give a damn. We ain't got nobody for that. Everybody want to shoot now. Everybody want to shoot now. Nobody want to fight with their hands. Nobody want to be real. Everybody want to hate. Everybody want to hate on somebody. Not nobody want to build nobody up. Nobody want to lead nobody to the win. Nobody want to lead nobody to the water. Because everybody either got to hate, you got to be jealous, you got to disrespect. Where it's not needed. You know what? I got this hoodie on. You see this hoodie right here? You see this? It's got all the mugshots of our civil rights leaders. And you know what? I had a conversation the other day with a coworker. And she told me something very powerful. This was a white lady at that. I wore this to work the other day. It's got Rosa Parks. It's got uh, Huey Newton. It's got Martin Luther King. It's got Malcolm X. Now, a couple of these guys don't have mugshots. A couple of these guys are just on this because this is civil rights leaders, as you can see. A couple of these guys I don't know, because, and I'm ashamed that I don't know a couple of these guys. But she told me something very powerful, this white lady. And I was like, I didn't think about it until I got home. And I was like, whoa, whoa. It didn't hit me. And you know, she told me, she looked at this, she saw the mug shots, and she was like, you know, that your hoodie shows? And I was like, huh? She said it shows, not only does it show the mug shots of our civil rights leaders, but it shows how the guys that led us as a people, not as black people, as a people, the people that led us, how they got treated because they were so real, so raw, so uncut. This is, and it didn't hit me till today. Really. I was like, wow, that is incredible. Excuse me, I gotta get something to drink. Now, wrestling, the current events, they brought CM Punk back. They bring The Rock back. Hopefully, God's willing, I'm going to WrestleMania this year. Never been. Never been to a WrestleMania. And this is leading into part 3. My wrestling story. I've never been to WrestleMania, but I have been to wrestling events. Reason why I'm so excited that I'm going to WrestleMania. A, it's in my favorite football team stadium, the Philadelphia Eagles. B, it's WrestleMania. C, it's probably going to be the best WrestleMania ever. Because the star power that you have in the WWE right now is incredible. You have, and I know I'm rambling, people, but I'm trying to get a point across here tonight on the Truth Podcast. You have the biggest star power that you've ever had since the Attitude Era in WWE. You have CM Punk, AJ Styles, who is also another favorite, Randy Orton. You bring The Rock back, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, LA Knight, Jade Cargill. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Insane. Insane. And Triple H is utilizing that shit. Kudos to you, my brother. But I've been to a couple wrestling shows. I've been to one in the Attitude Era at the Metro Center in Rockford, Illinois. I don't even remember what kind of live event it was, but it was a live event. I met Big Show, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Kurt Angle. Matter of fact, this was around the Invasion era. This was around the invasion era, the first invasion era, where WWE, WCW, and ECW had their little storyline. This was around that time. I've also been to a TNA event. Matter of fact, in Arkansas State, in my college. I'll never forget it. And matter of fact, it was two shows. It was one taping and then it was another taping. It was pretty cool. Got to meet Hulk Hogan, Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, Jeff Jarrett. I got to meet a lot of people. And I ain't and the thing about me is unless they are my favorite or unless I really, 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 really care about that person as a human being, um, I'm not one to take pictures with celebrities like that. I don't get starstruck with celebrities. Reason being is they humans just like we human, you know. Ti, I care about Ti for real. Like I feel like he one of the homies, even though I don't even know him. He don't know me. I feel like he one of the homies. But I took a picture with him obviously because it's my idol. um, I've also had wrestling toys. Okay. I've also had a lot of wrestling toys, a lot of action figures, a lot of um figurines, a lot of wrestling things, title belts, and I used to, you know what? Here's a story. I used to have so many wrestling toys to where I would create matches for them while I was playing with them. I used to I used to have this crate. I'll never forget it. I had a ring. I had like this toy ring, and I used to create cage matches for my toys. That's how much I love wrestling. But the point I was trying to make was we got to bring the real back, people. We got to bring the real back. We got to bring it back because there's too many fakes out here. I'm getting tired, y'all. I've been on here for about an hour now. I'm been rambling, so I'm gonna let y'all go. This is your boy DKB, aka DJ Playmaker, and this is the Midnight Truth with DKB podcast. Hope you all have a blessed night. Peace, love, and happiness. I'm out.